Once upon a time in a village, nestled between rolling hills and lush farmlands, lived a 13-year-old boy named Kene. Kene was a curious and intelligent kid who loved tinkering with discarded electronics and figuring out how things worked. Despite his small age, Kene had a passion for technology and a dream of becoming an engineer. But his family were traditional farmers, and they believed that farming was the only respectable way of life. His father, Papa Obi, was a strong and imposing man with calloused hands and a deep tan from years of working the land. His mother, Mama Ife, was a gentle and loving woman who shared her husband's beliefs about the importance of farming. One sunny afternoon, while Kene was trying to fix an old radio, his father noticed him and scolded him, saying, "The land feeds us, not those broken wires. Why don't you spend your time doing something useful like farming?" Kene knew that his father was right, but he couldn't help his curiosity. He dreamed of a life beyond the farmlands, and he believed that technology was the key to that. So he kept tinkering with his gadgets in secret, determined to one day show his father that there was more to life than farming. One day, while rummaging through an old box in the attic, Kene found a tattered newspaper with an article about a big AI innovation challenge being held in the nearby city. An idea sparked in his mind. Maybe this was his chance to show the world what he was capable of. Excitedly, he ran to his parents and said, "Look, there's this competition in the city where I can show off my invention." His father listened patiently and then said, "The land feeds us, not those broken wires. Besides, why would you want to go to the city? There's nothing to do there for a poor village boy like you." Kene's heart sank, but he didn't give up. He saved money for months until he had enough to buy a ticket to the city. As soon as the sun went down, he packed a small bag with some clothes and food and sneaked out of the house. He walked all night long until he reached the city, where towering buildings and bright lights greeted him. For the first time, Kene felt a sense of wonder mixed with fear. This was a world away from his small village. He wandered around until he found a place to sleep for the night. For 2 days, Kene explored the city, marveling at its wonders, but he slept hungry on the sidewalk each night. On the 3rd day, exhausted and hungry, he collapsed near a busy market. Kene closed his eyes, hoping someone would help him. Meanwhile, in a small house on the outskirts of the city, an elderly woman named Grandma Ebere was watering her plants when she saw Kene lying on the ground. She walked over and gently asked him if he was all right. When she saw how skinny and tired he was, she took him home and gave him food and water. After Kene had eaten his fill, he explained to Grandma about his dream of participating in the AI competition. "I wanted to show everyone what I could do, but now I'm too late," he said with a sigh. Grandma Ebere listened patiently, and when Kene finished his story, she smiled. "It's never too late," she said. "When I was young, I also had a dream to build machines, and I never stopped following it." Kene looked up at her in surprise. "You're amazing, Grandma," he said. "Can you help me fix my amplifier so I can participate in the competition?" Grandma Ebere led him to her workshop where dusty tools and half-finished projects sat on a large workbench. With Kene's help, they gathered the necessary parts, and after a few hours of hard work, the amplifier was fixed. "You have a real gift," Kene, Grandma Ebere said, smiling, you just need to believe in yourself. The next day, Grandma Ebere registered Kene for the contest and told him to rest before it started. Kene woke up early and took a deep breath. Today was the day he had been training for. At the competition venue, Kene met his partner, a 14-year-old girl named Adaeze. Together, they brainstormed ideas and decided to build something that would help the people of their country. Let's build a solar-powered water pump, Kene suggested. Farmers in our village struggled to water their crops during the dry season, and a reliable water pump would make a huge difference. Adaeze nodded in agreement. And I know just the design we need. Over the next few days, the team worked tirelessly, welding, soldering, and testing parts. They laughed and joked around as they worked, bonding over their shared passion for technology. Soon, the big day arrived, and Kene and Adaeze stood nervously before the judges and a crowd of spectators. Our solar-powered water pump will help farmers in rural areas to water their crops efficiently, Kene said confidently. As they demonstrated their invention, a spark came out of the solar panel and suddenly it caught fire. Kene and Adaeze panicked as the flames spread. The crowd gasped, and the judges looked disappointed. Kene felt his heart break as the judges prepared to move on to the next contestant. But who's then, Grandma? Ebere whispered to Kene. Don't give up, Kene. You can still fix this. Her words gave him strength. Kene took a deep breath and nodded. There was still time to fix the problem. Together, Kene and Adaeze stayed awake all night, working side by side under a single lamp. Sweat rolled down their foreheads, and their eyes were red from exhaustion. But they didn't care. They were determined to fix the pump and show everyone what they were capable of. Finally, as the first rays of sunlight peeked through the window, they finished their repairs. The next morning, Kene and Adaeze stood before the judges again. Their hands were shaky, but their spirits were high. They explained how their invention worked and then pressed the button to start it. The pump word to life and water gushed out powerfully. The solar panel stood steady under the sun, providing energy to the pump without any issues. A loud applause erupted from the crowd as the judges announced Kene and Adaeze as the winners of the competition. The feeling of triumph was indescribable. All their hard work and sacrifices had paid off. Kene looked at his trophy proudly, then at his grandma and Adaeze, who was beaming with joy. In that moment, he knew that he had achieved something truly special. Later that day, Kene and his grandma returned to the village. Papa Obi and Mama Ife were waiting for them, and Kene proudly showed them the trophy. Then he demonstrated the solar pump, which had already become a source of wonder and amazement for the other farmers. How did you manage to win such a big competition? Papa Obi asked, surprised. Kene smiled and pointed to his grandma, who had played a crucial role in his success. Papa Obi nodded, understanding dawning on him. Kene's passion for technology was not a threat to their way of life, but a way to complement it. Perhaps the land and your machines can work together, he said, placing a hand on Kene's shoulder. You have brought honor to our family, son. We should be proud of you. Kene's mother, Mama Ife, embraced him tightly. We may be farmers, but that doesn't mean we can't appreciate technology. You have shown us that it's important to follow your dreams, Kene, no matter how big they are. That evening, the entire village gathered at Kene's house to celebrate his achievement. The farmers marveled at the solar pump, and Kene's parents beamed with pride as they watched their son interact with the villagers. Kene's heart swelled with gratitude. He had not only won a prestigious competition, but also brought his village a step closer to progress. As the stars twinkled above, Kene stood between the farmlands and the glowing horizon of the city. He knew that the future was not about choosing between his dreams and his duty. It was about uniting them. With a newfound sense of purpose, he continued to work on his inventions, forever changing the landscape of his village and inspiring others to follow their dreams. And so the tale of Kene, the young inventor from the village, became a legend, passed down through generations, reminding everyone that the greatest innovations often start with a single spark of curiosity.